Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I'm going to discuss what is the variables in Power Automate. So if you are learning Power Automate, then you should know how to store the data. In any type of programming, variables are used to store the data, and that could be of any type. Okay, so let's see how it works. So first of all, what we will do is we will create a flow to start working. So I will say create, and I'm going to create an instant cloud flow. Let me trigger the, let me select manually trigger a flow. Okay, this is fine. I selected this. Now here, this is our trigger, meaning we are going to trigger the flow manually. So now if I go to the actions, and if you go to the built-in tools, if you open all, there is something called variables. So these all the options are to add the new action. So if you go to the variables here, you have options to create a variable, update a value of variable. Then even there is a way to increment a variable or decrement a variable. Then there is a append to array variable. If you have a already array type variable, then you can use append to array. If you can use append to string, if you have string type variable created, right? So what I will do, I would like to create a variable. So I will select initialize variable. Okay, this much window is sufficient for us. You have to define the name first for your variable. So I will say name is a name. Then what type of value is this? You can define, meaning this is the name variable, but you should define what type of value that should store, right? Or you are going to store the value of which type in that variable. So initially what I will pick is I will pick integer, meaning I am going to store the numbers. I will say 5, 10, any number you can select. Say save. Right. So here, this will make a confusion, that because here we selected a name and then we selected its type as an integer, and then we inputted a value as a 10. So by looking at the variable name, if you select the name as a name, then what will be the expectation? If you think logically, that it should house as a text type value, it should store the text type value, right? So let me change this to age. Now this variable name makes us sense. So this is how you need to define, so that your variable name should be should describe what value or what type of value is going to hold that variable. So by looking at age, if someone got to know that there is a variable called age, then automatically it will comes in mind that it is of type integer, right? So if you click on the any action, you will be able to edit the action name. So what I said is I said the create age variable. This is fine. Then variable name itself is the age. Okay, this is fine. So now I would like to do something. Okay, I want to see output of this variable. So what I will do is, so there is no direct way to display the output. So it's better to send an email for the testing purpose to see the output, and we will see the output in the email body, right? So I will select this send. I'm going to send the email to myself only, and let's say this is what my account, and this is a very able test, right? And you are going to specify the body. So I am not going to specify anything. I will select the age variable, right? Output of age, or whatever will be the value of that age variable will be selected here. So now let me run this test, and if I say run, okay, it is going to make a connection with my Outlook and the flow has triggered. Right. So in inbox, you can see variable test is the subject name. That is what the email we created, and it is giving me the value as a 10. So there is no way to check the type of variable, but you can use the functions like informative functions, or we can say information functions like is number or float, integer. So we will see through the examples later, but you cannot check the type of any variable. In case of custom connectors, you may be able to do, but there is no direct way to check the type of variable. Right, this is fine. So variable we created here as a age. You can see what is the input. Input type is integer. What will be the output? So output you can see. So this is not, because the variable is not going to do output, is not going to perform anything. It is just storing a value. So it stores the value. That's it. So in input, you will see only the name of variable and type. In output, you will not see anything in case of variable. Here, you can see the input is the input because we are not going to pass any data structure here, but application ID, connection reference, open ID, all these things, then email to. So whatever the parameters you defined, an email message body, right? So this gives the input and this is the output. So here in case of outputs, if you see the status code as a 200, that means your email has been sent successfully. So it saves the response in this format, right? So now we saw how we can create a variable. Now I would like to update the value of variable. Okay, I am not happy with this. So what I will do is I will again go to the built-in, go to the variables, and there is something called a set variable. So here, if you select the variable name, you will be able to do this. Now I'm going to update. Initially, I'll create a variable with the value as a 10. Now I'm on next action, I'm updating that variable with the new value, and I'm going to trigger the flow just to see whether am I getting updated value of that variable or not. So here you can see earlier I received email with 10 value. Now it is receiving with 20. Right. So this is how two actions. First action is create a variable. Second action is set a variable. If you want to edit this, you can go and edit, and you can say here update age variable. So we will be able to learn how to use the variables. Once this is done, we will go through the control statements, and then you will be able to build the logic in Power Automates. See, and in any of the programming languages, building a logic is a difficult part, and that is what you have to do. Otherwise, rest of the things are already created in the packages. But logic, as per your process, you have to build. So this is fine. We saw how to update the variable. So now I would like to use the next action. Okay, let's say increment a variable, decrement a variable, how we can use this. So here I updated a value to 20, but I would like to perform the increment, or I would like to perform the increment action on the variable. Okay. So here, so increment, decrement, obviously it is used with the number type variable only. And I will say this is 1, right? So I'm going to increment a variable by 1. So now, first of all, created a variable with 10. I updated to 20. And now I'm going to increment this. And if I run this flow, so what will be the output of my variable is 21. So it added by 1, meaning the variable is updated with 1. Let's say I would like to update with 100. And done. So here you can see variable is updated with 100, meaning it is going to add the number. Increment is going to add the number. Similarly, decrement is going to subtract the number. So I am going to subtract something from built-in, let's say, decrement variable, right? So something from age is updated to 120. Out of that, I will remove the 20, and it should give me the 20 as out. Sorry, 100 as a output. Right. So you are able to see now the latest email shows me age value as 100. Right. So these are the variables, variable related actions. And you can create a variable that of different types. So let me say edit. And if I go and if I select here initialize a variable, and I would like to initialize the variable with the name. So let me say name is, so name will not be in a integer format, right? Or integer type. It should be in text format. So I will say text, and here I will enter my name as a Brahma. Okay. So this, okay, invalid template name message, circular dependency. Okay, name. Okay, because of this circular dependency, age. So create age, not age. I will say create name variable. Right. So I created a variable that is of text type. Similarly, you can create a variable of Boolean type also. And you can say initialize, or I will say result. And if you select Boolean, here it comes like true and false. So you can select true or false as you want. So create a name variable. Okay. So if I say this, so create bool variable, Boolean type variable, right? So you will be able to create a variable that is going to store the true and false type value. So now if I go to the variable again, and if I select the initialize variable, I'm just trying to show you how many types of variables we can create. And if I go to the Boolean now, so integer, we saw float. If you are going to use the numbers which are in a decimal, so you can use this float. Otherwise, this is fine. So else we are left with the array and object. So what is object? What is array? Let's say start with the array. Array is a list of values. Okay. So here we don't have the limitations that like this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm sorry, 3, 4, and 5. So this is going to, if you see the list of value, comma separated values. comma separated values in square bracket, you can say that is array. Okay, so name parameter is required. Okay, my bad. So bull is oh, so here again it is going to give me the error for the circular dependency, because okay, create array variable and array of numbers and done, right? Array of numbers. So this create a list of values. Okay, so here we have a structure called array that is going to hold the values only. But let's say I would like to store the data. I would like to store the data in the form of key and value pair. So what we can do, or what type of variable we can use? So here, if I go to the built-in, go to the variables. If I say initialize variable, so there is something called object that is going to hold the data in the JSON format. JSON format is nothing but values which are key and value, which are in key and value pair. Okay. So syntax we will see, and I will see, I'll say student detail. Okay. And then I will select object. Here, if you don't want to pass anything, you can pass. Otherwise, how to create an object? Okay, so I should select object here. Right. Object is selected. Objects are always stored in curly braces. So you can use curly braces. Then the name and value parameter. Right. This is fine. But again, the what type of value is this? So this is going to be a text type value, but now it shows, gives us a error that invalid JSON. Okay, so what is the wrong with this? That we have a text type values, and we are using those values without quotation. That's why it was throwing the error. Okay, so what it has done is it has created the object type variable. But in single object, you can store the multiple values which are separated by the comma, and I will say age, and age is of 10, then comma, age is in number, so I'm not going to surround it by the double quotation. Then again, inside a double quotation, I will say address, and address is again in the form of text, so I will say Pune. Right. So this is how you can add the key value pair to your object, and you are going to store the details of object, right? So here I'm not going to pass everything. Okay, the variables which are going to return a single value, I'm not going to use that. Instead of this, I will use the, okay, these are the variables it is just giving me, but I would like to pick the value of number and student details. So I'm not seeing those parameters here or those values here. Okay. So how to get that? Okay. The variables which are going to return a single value, you will see the list of variables here. Right. But here in case of array, So these are the data structures in Power Automate and objects. Okay. So I would like to access the value of this. So what I will do is I will first pick this. Okay. And let's go to the name. Here, go to the expression and I will say variables of num. Okay. So this is going to return me the value of array. Again, I will go to the, because see these values are coming from the variable. That's why I'm using the variables functions. Okay, there is a function called variable, and I will say student underscore. So details here, you cannot use space while using the any step name or any variable name in the subsequent action. Okay, so it says input and email type open action not valid. Student detail must be initialized. Okay, so my bad. What I did is here I use student details. I must have not used. Okay, so for if you are using any step in output any step name in output function, so that is not going to work. So let me close this and now open this and let's update the expression. I just removed underscore because here variable name is with underscore. So variable names you need not to replace the space with underscore. You can use the space as a space. But in case of accessing the variable or any steps output, in that case, obviously you should use. So let me show you something that I would like to see the output of Boolean, create Boolean variable, right? So in that case, okay, I can go and I can just select, oh, age, not the age. I'm just trying to select the value here. Let me say result. The variable result. This is how you can use. So here this is a variable, that's why it supports the variable functions. But if it is a other type of action, you can use outputs. Okay, let me save this and let's run the flow to see how the values are, how the arrays, meaning the values of array and objects are treated in output. So an array will be like this. So we can say this is array and this is a object. So you can have the list of object. That is what the nested data structure you can have, or you can use array as a value of any key. So that is even fine. Right. So let me say instead of age is equal to 10, I would like to use the output of any other, or I would like to use the output of array. So if I come here and oh, control Z. Okay, I don't want to save this. Let me say, and let me re-edit this. I want to edit the object. Okay. Here, instead of this, if I use the variable number as an array, save. So I can pass array as a value to any object. I can pass any object as a value to array. So here you will be able to see the age is now arrays, right? So this is how the variables are created in Power Automate. I'm here to discuss how we can work, how we can use the functions with string, how we can use functions with array, how we can use functions with objects, or how we can use control statements with these. So we will discuss in detail, but till the time this is sufficient to get understood what is a variable, how we can create a variable, and what are the different types of variables that we can create in Power Automate. So I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video, and do not forget to subscribe webcam to learn the technologies in detail. Thank you. Happy learning.